So this is episode 2 of Everything But Weddings.
This episode wasn't going to get aired. We started filming it when we filmed episode 1 and we got nervous and decided to cut it out of episode 1. So we will get changed. You'll see us in different clothing. But enjoy it. We talk about everything dating apps and dating preferences and a few more things dating related. And we hope you enjoy. Thank you. We're on the dating apps. I'm not a massive fan. I don't get a lot of matches. I don't think I do the dating app thing correct. I don't know if there is a correct way of doing it.
But is there a correct way of doing it?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I look at. We both got Hinge, right, around the same time, right? Mate, I think I had it a little bit earlier than you did.
Yeah, you had it more than me.
And let's say, and on Hinge, how it works essentially is you can like someone and then they can accept you. Mm-hmm. Is that how it works? It's like
yes.
you like someone, they have the ability to say, yes, I like you too, then it becomes a match. But I think it's from like a point of view of like the guy has to like them and then the girl can accept. Or
no, that's a different one.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. We're shit at this.
Yeah, I have no idea. But anyway, we're on there and there's a section where it shows... Oh, no, yeah, because here's some girls that have liked me. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I've got 16 girls that have liked me, right? And that's all right. But like they're not like this is they've liked me and I haven't responded back, and I'm these are ones that I'm probably not going to respond back, which is fine. We will have preferences and things that we like, okay? And these girls, I don't want to do it.
What's your preference? Hang on, before we jump into that, because we just jumped from.
What is my preference? For like it's very hard to say that, because I could meet someone and they give me a certain feeling. Like I'm all about I don't like dating apps because you don't get that feeling.
True.
You can see what they look like and you can see what they're telling you that.
And that's why I don't like dating apps, because you have to judge someone within 5 seconds of seeing a photo of them.
Right. Well, it's like the Tinder idea is just swipe left.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that could be the nicest person ever, but there's a shit photo.
Right.
And you have to judge on that. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
It makes you don't like the feeling of that.
No, not the but it's just like, how?
Yeah.
You could just...
No, but people aren't.
Yeah.
Like people aren't... I mean, people are... I mean, I would assume on Tinder and things like that, people are just going for looks. Like you don't have who has the time to go through each profile and be like, do I actually think this person is a good person? It's more just like, oh, you're attractive, I'll swipe. Yes, if you swipe back, then I'll invest time into thinking about who you are as a person. I think that's how Tinder works.
No,
where Hinge is a little bit different, because you can't just swipe through photos. You scroll and then there's more information about the person. There's what you put into it to say, hey, this is who I am and what I'm about. You can put your age, whether you have animals, whether you're interested in children. It's a lot more deep. It's a bit more mature.
I think Hinge, yeah. And I think we've spoken about this is very different from my age group and your age group.
Right.
Like what you're looking for and what I'm looking for are two very different things. So it's fascinating, but and male, female, I feel like it's very different as well.
Very different.
Very.
I mean, there was a thing that I saw the other day that was saying like 90% of men... Sorry, 10% of men get 90% of the female's attention on dating apps.
Brutal. That sounds about right though, because I think, you get...
Like let's say there's 100 men on a dating app, right? And then you've got 100 women... 90 of those women will pick the top 10 of those 100 men.
That makes sense.
Which is wild, because then it makes me feel really insecure because I don't really get picked.
Yeah, ew.
So I'm not in the top 10%.
Yeah, but that's if you're...
I think it's because of my height. I'm 5'6". That's what it is.
Well, and the thing is...
We'll blame the height. Nothing else. Everything else is perfect. Personality, looks, perfect. It must be the height.
Jesus. And,
it's the only thing wrong with me.
With no other context. But we both want different things. You're looking for someone that obviously you want to have a family with and potentially marry. I'm on the other scale of that where I don't want that.
Yeah, it's kind of scary because I'm getting to the age where like I think to myself I want kids by like 34.
Jeez, that's a very interesting age. Why 34?
Well, because once they're 10, I'm 44.
Okay.
You know,
I thought about
20,
that.
20, I'm 54. I mean, I think it's just a good number. But what it does mean, let's just say I'm 27. I'm 27 in like 2 weeks. But that's 7 years away that I would like to have kids by. It might be way early. It could be in 3 years. But I got to meet someone that I actually want to have kids with. I'm definitely not ready.
Great life advice from me. One thing I can give.
Let's hear it.
Make sure you pick the person you procreate with very well. That's solid life advice.
Yeah.
Do you get what that means?
Yeah.
Because you're looking like you don't.
No, I've got distracted by a notification. We need to turn off all notifications.
You really
next podcast.
do. My wrist is going
No,
nuts.
I get it. I mean, it's interesting because one thing that I find fascinating is a lot of what I think happens on these dating apps is a lot of girls when they're creating their dating profile, I feel like they're creating it thinking, what do guys want to see?
Yeah, see, that I hate.
Right? But here's where it's kind of like a negative thing. And I'll just put it out there. I'm a bit conservative. I'm a bit of a, would you say I'm a bit conservative just in terms of like my views on dating and...
When we say we're the opposite, we're literally the opposite in every single way.
And we'll get into that one day, but maybe not today. But
I mean, what we want on dating apps, like it's very different.
Right, absolutely.
We'll go boom. What's the first three things that you want from...
Well, no, I was actually midway through an idea and you cut me off.
Right,
but
okay.
anyway, so one thing that I think girls do on dating apps is they create the dating profile that they think that men want to see. So a big one, massive one, is let's say you're an attractive girl and you make a profile. Let's say you're 24, good looking. You've got whatever. You're just a normal 24-year-old woman, and you're making a profile. I'm not kidding you. About 9 out of 10 of them they'll have like 2 bikini shots on their Hinge profile, right? Whatever. Like, I get it. It looks attractive. It makes me, I'm like, oh God, this girl's good looking. The problem is it's not a problem, but I guess, in my mind, I'm like, if that's what you want to advertise as you,
it's polarizing.
Yeah. But I guess, I mean, that could be a very conservative view. I mean, I'm sure I'm not saying that people that post bikini pictures are bad people. Not at all. Let's just put that out there. I'm going to get crucified on the internet if that's the viewpoint that looked like I was having. It's just if you're serious about getting into a relationship, you're in your mid to later 20s, I think there's a lot more important factors than what you look like. And I'm not just saying that because I don't match with a lot of people. I'm saying there is. I mean, you could meet a gorgeous, like I've met gorgeous people that have absolutely no brains, and it's such a turn off that it's like, I can't be around this. You've met with people, I know there's some dating stories where you've met with people that, you're like, oh, this guy looks interesting, whatever. And then you meet them and they're such a white piece of paper that you're like, I can't do this.
And it's funny because it's like, there's nothing wrong with that person. They're just not.
Right. Not for you.
Not for me. And I'm probably not for them. So I guess, it's about finding, and I don't really have a type. There's certain things I like.
Oh, you have a type.
General.
Yeah, she's got a type. Let's not.
All right, what's my
Let
type?
me tell you. Okay, let's go over it. All right, here we
Look
go.
out.
Karina's got a type.
Oh,
It's called walking red flags. That's her type. Any new person she sends through to me, she goes, oh, I'm starting to talk to this person. I'm like, he looks dangerous.
Yeah, well, look. I can't really argue that.
There's always something off about these people and you fall madly in love very quickly.
Okay, let's take the love out of that. I enjoy...
They take your attention.
They do get my attention.
Yeah.
I like...
What is it? What is it about a guy that is like, I don't know,
a walking red flag.
A walking red flag. Let's break that down a bit.
Well, really, I'm very aware of it. That's the problem. And look, I should probably do a bit more therapy about that. But it's just, I don't know. Look, I guess.
Do you want me to tell you what I think?
Yeah.
I think you like guys that give you a really volatile emotional response.
Yeah.
I think that when someone makes you like question them and then no, everything's fine, and then question them and then everything's fine, there's such a fluctuation in how you're feeling that it's almost like endorphins and then bad feelings, endorphins and serotonin and then bad feelings. And it's like, it's something that it's almost like an addiction.
Possibly. Yeah, I think it's a lot of it's a trauma response. We've spoken about that.
Right.
I think it's
and I think that happens to a lot of people.
I think it does. And I guess I get very scared of getting hurt. So I put walls up and pick people that potentially can hurt me, but I can't get too attached to, because that's just how I deal with things, and it's very unhealthy. I'm aware of that, but it gives me it makes me feel good for a short period of time.
Right.
And then I don't know. It's hard to explain.
And it takes some time for them to show their true colours, and then you're like, actually, this is not what I want to get into.
You know, also, it's I guess the one thing too. Remember, I was in a very long-term relationship, so you get into like the monotonous day-to-day everything. Marriage. Which
not every marriage has to end up like that, but correct. I know what you're saying.
But it is
it's such a stereotype.
You know, wasn't very exciting towards the end, that kind of thing. So I guess the people I maybe gravitate towards are,
what do they call it? Love bombing. Like people that you meet straight up and they're really attached to you.
Like fun and exciting. That's
right.
Do you know that's probably what it is? It's more fun, exciting stuff that I was potentially lacking in previous relationships.
Yeah, they throw it all at you after you first meet them.
Yeah. But not even that. It's just that adrenaline and that feeling of like
this could be something.
Yeah. Or not even that.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing too. I've got some issues.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, look, I think it's just me enjoying myself, but also there is some like hidden trauma in there, and we will go into that, but that's a long story. But I was hurt very badly, so in a pretty extreme way. So I guess now what I do is gravitate towards people that I can get hurt by, but I don't necessarily get too attached to them. We're
gonna need a therapist on the show. It's getting real. It's getting real heavy. Real quick. We're gonna betterhelp.com. We are get a therapist immediately.
Look, I've done therapy. I'm good.
Yeah, I think we've got some opposing views on therapy as well.
Yeah, we do.
I love it. I love therapy. I think it's great. I think everyone should do it if you can afford it. It's something that you can either, like, it depends what you want to get out of it, but I think therapy for me has been something that has kept me on track is how I would put it. A lot of people think that therapy is this thing where it's like, oh, you got bad things going on in your life, you need to get them sorted, or you're not thinking correctly, get this sorted. And it's absolutely not why I go see a therapist.
People see therapists for different reasons, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, but I think there's still a stigma around it. You know, you bring up the fact that the idea that you see a therapist. I mean, my therapist is like my mate. Like, I go there and I'm like, let's unload on the last month of what's been going on, and it's so exciting. Last month when I saw him, he's like, okay, what are you going to do for the next 4 weeks? And I'll list out a couple of things, a couple of goals that I have, some things that I want to achieve. And then when I actually go see him 4 weeks later and none of those things are achieved, but I tell him I'm starting a podcast, he's going to go, let's talk about it before you actually publish this podcast. That's probably what he's going to say.
Probably, but that's all right. Yeah, look, I think therapy, I do need therapy, let's be honest. I've done it for years. I went to some
Don't need it. It'd just be good to get different
perspectives. But you know what? I think we do have very different. I've tried it many a times with many different therapists, but it didn't necessarily, it worked for me for certain things. But yeah, look, we've had this conversation too. I'm a very self-aware person. I know what I do and the choices I make. I just continue to make them.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily good.
It's part of your journey.
But in saying that, they're not bad choices all the time. They're just choices that work for me. And I think there's a big stigma around dating and what's right or wrong.
Right.
And
absolutely.
There's no right or wrong.
I found myself judging certain decisions maybe that you'd make.
You absolutely judge me, and that's fine, because I would too.
Way.
In a friendly way. But let's hang on.
Trying to keep you safe.
When we say, is this making me sound like?
Yeah, it is. I'm not
that person.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is the first episode that we release. This is
a whole episode of Grabs, by the way.
I think this is just Grabs. I think maybe the next episode we do a proper.
Can we do it?
Because this got heavy real quick. We need to balance that. We need to balance, like, okay, we started off being like, we're professionals, we've got businesses, and then it went straight to, I've got problems and I need a therapist. So we need to balance that a little bit better. Book us, 22weddingfilms.com and K Photography by Karina. Google.
Wow, okay. Where do we go from here?
Just quickly off the pod. I think it was fun. That was fun. But
It was
do you think...
terrible.
Yeah, we dived way too quick into things. This isn't the therapy.
This is a whole...
Fucking hell. It'd be a good goal to want to get married.
Yeah.
You know what I think the goal is? I mean, tell me if this is a good intention to go into a relationship with or to start seeing someone. I think this is actually a very good indication whether or not you should even consider still talking to the person that you're talking to right now is, do you see yourself marrying that person?
No.
But that's a good question to ask yourself. If you're seeing someone and you think, oh, I'm getting feelings or, am I getting attached or whatever, the question you should ask yourself is, am I interested in marrying this person?
Yeah,
Do I see long term my life working out with this person? If it's
But that's two very different questions. Do I see myself marrying that person or do I see myself in a long-term relationship with that person?
How is that two different questions?
Because I can be in a long-term relationship with someone without marrying them.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying.
Like,
but marriage...
if you said to me, there's a certain person right now, could you see yourself with them long-term? The answer would be yes. But could you see yourself marrying them? The answer would be no.
Okay, let me ask you this question then. If you could be with someone long-term, but you would not marry this person, that's what you're saying. You're saying, I could see myself in a long-term relationship with this person. However, I'm not willing to commit to a marriage or...
it's not as important to me to commit to a marriage.
Do you think that would differ on the quality of the person that you're with?
Not the quality, the type.
Okay.
Doesn't mean the type is bad or good, but there are some people, like me, for example... 15 years ago, marriage was very important to me.
Right.
Whereas now it's not, because it doesn't mean I love less or I'm a different person. It just means that I don't think you need to marry someone to make it more important. Because I can say that's my husband or that's my partner. Who gives a fuck?
That's very interesting.
Marriage to me wouldn't be overly important.
And I would be very disappointed if you married this person.
But...
I'm not videoing it.
You would... I can't even say that.
Go on, I'll cut it out.
Because I was just taking the piss out of you.
Say it. Oh, you would get someone else, you mother...
No.
Is that no?
Do you know the first thing that came to my head, which
What?
is so bad?
Here we go.
You couldn't, because the camera angle would be like this the whole time. That is literally...
I have
He's 6'4".
I've...
How tall are you?
Excuse me.
No, I know. That's why this is so fucking stupid, because I know.
I have filmed tall people before.
But that is...
And luckily, there is tools and equipment and support gear for people like me to film tall people.
Oh, I can't believe that's the first thing that came to my head.
Piece of shit. Oh, God, that was good. It's a grab. Good work. Thank you guys for listening. That was episode 2 of Everything But Weddings. We hope you enjoyed it. Next week's episode will be out on a Tuesday, the following week, whenever that might be. And thank you for listening. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Head on over to Instagram at Everything But Weddings and give us a follow. And last but not least, if you do listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. We'd appreciate it. See you guys next week.